This short video is a help to understand the physical context of the research data collection for this study entitled The Effects of Soil Organic Matter Management Practices on Soil Properties and Yellow Cassava Yield in an Acacia Agroforestry System in Kinshasa Province, in the Democratic Republic of Congo. First, the research was conducted in Ibi. Ibi is a place named after a small river where research on acacia agroforestry has been prominent in the last 10 years, I would say. Second, this agroforestry system integrates acacia trees and staple crops such as maize and cassava in a rotational system. Acacia is a nitrogen-fixing tree, so the main contribution is litter fall that brings rich organic matter. The main output from the system is charcoal for cooking purposes. Kinshasa has a very low rate of access to electricity, and the main ecosystem service is soil fertility. Now the cycle is simple. Natural vegetation, that's savanna, is replaced by acacia trees planted 3 meters by 3 meters, intercropped with cassava, and cassava is harvested after 12 to 15 months, depending on the variety. Acacia then is left to grow until 7 to 10 years, depending on the farmer. Then acacias are slashed and transformed into charcoal. After acacia are cut and transformed into charcoal, a new cycle begins with the burning of the field, burning the left branches and twigs and litter that's left in the field, and get acacia seeds germinate and get a new plantation. Again, cassava is intercropped with acacia seedlings with the benefit of improved soil fertility through litter accumulation of the previous plantation. That's why basically it's also called an improved fallow, because it gets in a few years what a natural fallow will get in 10 to 20 years. So what I want to say is that what we found on the ground was not a field ready to plant with cassava and acacia, but a grown vegetation that developed under acacia fallow and had grown taller in the weeks succeeding charcoal production. Second, what did we notice? Cassava and maize crops that did not express the improved fertility expected from an acacia fallow. When you see these crops, they show deficiencies basically. Why did we conduct the research from an agronomic perspective? It's because we observed cassava fields next to our research field, and the plants showed signs of low planting material quality. We can see signs of cassava mosaic, symptoms of nutrient deficiency, but also lack of appropriate management. You can see planting density is wider and weeds are just spread all over the field. So then we chose to introduce tillage methods in the research to see how they would affect soil fertility as organic management technique. So we collected the litter sample and the soil samples on the entire field. Then we burned half of the field the way it's usually done in that system, and collected samples on the burned part, the ashes, for the litter and soil on the bond plot for the soil samples at 3, at 5, 20, and 30 centimeters. So we wanted to understand the impact of burning on litter nutrient concentration, on soil properties, and on cassava, and ask the question, how sustainable is the system if burning is the main land preparation technique? And what is the influence of weed vegetation on soil nutrients in the period between producing charcoal and beginning the second cropping cycle with acacia and cassava crop? So those are the questions we wanted to address by this in the study, and we hope this visual aid situate well the context where we get the data from. The processing aspect in the research was a response to a concrete situation found in Ibi. Improved yellow cassava has been promoted in Ibi in a national effort to promote biofortified cassava, which is cassava enriched in vitamin A to address mineral deficiencies in diets based on cassava. Unfortunately, traditional processing methods have failed to obtain yellow cassava flour in Ibi region, at least, because that's the context of our research. So we decided to test a mechanical grater on that variety to make drying easier by obtaining microchips instead of macrochips, as you can see on the picture. So those are the steps followed to get the data. We remind that previous studies have focused on soil samples and their analysis in laboratory. We did that part, but this study wanted to make the research more relevant to smallholder farmers in Ibi and similar context by focusing more on the management aspect, burning or returning organic inputs, and introducing mound tillage and ridge tillage on top of the flat tillage that is common in the region after acacia have been cut. And the idea was to improve the effects of organic inputs on cassava yield. What follow may help to see more about what happened on the field. But we hope this helps to understand the methodology that has been described in the written work, and this will also help to not spend a lot of time in developing the methodology section during the defense. Thank you. Etiru, ça veut dire pile, pile, pile,